Hey, good morning to our listeners at the Heart Media Group this morning. I'm Seth Lawrence with you folks on Facebook and YouTube this morning as we bring you a special, we'll call it a podcast, I guess, with Dr. Mark Hobbie, who is the organizer of Tour DeWitt, joining us in studio today. First of all, Dr. Hobbie, good to see you as always. Thanks for making time for us.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Absolutely. All right. It's Tour DeWitt time, sir. Let's start with the basics. The when, the where. What do we know about this year?
Yeah, sure. So Tour DeWitt bike ride this year is going to be Saturday, June 6th. And it's a recreational bike ride fundraiser. And we've done it it's been going on for a long time. This is my third year as director. But Saturday, June 6th, it starts and finishes at Weldon Springs State Park. It'll be like right at the concession stand is where registration and check-in is. And people just bring their bikes. They park there. They take off. They do the entire route. There's several different routes. There's going to be 9 miles, 25 miles, 45 miles, and 63 miles. Similar to previous years. The route's a little different, but mostly the same. So that way there's routes for people of all abilities and whatever they're wanting to get into.
Mm-hmm.
All of them loop back around to the state, back to Weldon Springs. So finish where you start. And yeah, registration and check-ins from 6:30 a.m. to 8 a.m.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of the basics of it.
All right. Well, let's dive into, of course, Tour DeWitt is the annual bike ride. You mentioned this is your third year, starting to get the hang of this thing and feel pretty comfortable doing it.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot less work this year prepping than the previous couple of years. The first year was the most because it was all new, and then last year was kind of correcting everything that we ran into that were problems that I didn't anticipate. And I think this year we've kind of got it ironed out.
Now, this had gone away, and you brought it back 3 years ago, right?
Correct, yeah. So it went on, I think it went on in the 90s for a long time, or starting in the 90s, and then there was a break. And Steve Lobb did it for many years. I'm not sure how many years, but let's see. My first year would have been 24. 23, it did not happen. That was the year that they announced shortly before that it was canceled, and I had reached out and then heard back a lot later and ended up being in charge of it. So
so here we are.
Didn't necessarily want to do that, but it's been good. I'm glad that we're able to do it, and it's a good thing.
Sure,
so just hoping for good weather.
I'm curious, what have you learned about planning this event your first 2 years that made this year so much smoother?
A lot of it's just all the logistics and having it typed out and written out and having a plan for like 3 months out, you do this, 2 months out, you do this, the month of you do this. It's just because I had to figure that out as I went along, and it's just constantly like stressful. Like, what am I forgetting? What do I need to do? So now it's kind of all written out, and I have a template for it. I just follow, and it's a lot easier to do.
Sure.
And also the first year getting volunteers was more difficult, just because it was the first time I'd ever done it. I'm not great at asking for help in general. So this year and last year, but I'm just kind of building on volunteers that we've had in the past and kind of relying on them, and they're happy to do it. And it's been really great. So.
Sure. Yeah. Very good. Well, Tour DeWitt, you said June 6th. Is that right? Yeah.
Saturday, June 6th.
Right around the corner.
You can register online.
Yeah. Let's talk that.
And that's been open for maybe a month. The last day to register online is tomorrow, Friday, May 22nd. Because if you register online ahead of time, you get a t-shirt. It's also $5 cheaper to do that. So it's $30 if you pre-register. That's available through tomorrow. And actually, just based on logistics, we probably won't close the website until like Tuesday after Labor Day. But officially, it is tomorrow is the last day to register. $30 to register ahead of time. You get a t-shirt or a tank top. If you wait and register after that, you're going to register day of, just morning of. And actually, most people do that. That's probably 80% of the people that ride in it do it day of. But it is $35 to register day of, and you don't get a t-shirt. So there's a benefit to registering ahead of time. And that's for most of the routes. But the 9-mile route, the shortest one, it's $15 to pre-register and $20 day of. So it is a little bit less expensive.
Easy enough. So tomorrow, final day to get that T-shirt if and register online for Tour DeWitt coming up on June the 6th. Dr. Mark Hobbie is our guest in studio. He is now the organizer of the annual Tour DeWitt bike ride, again originating at Weldon Springs. I'm curious, Dr. Hobbie, as you start to bring this back and build momentum, are you getting more and more participation as these years go by?
We got less participation last year than the previous year, and it really just fluctuates a lot. And the reason they didn't do it the year before that was because participation was down a lot. And sometimes it's, you get pre-registered riders, but like I said, most of them register the day of, so it's really hard to even get a sense of how many people are going to show up.
Sure.
The first year we had just under 100. I think it was 95 or so, and last year we had 77 or something like that. So it was still a pretty good turnout. I mean, I think anything 50 to 100 is pretty good, and if we get more than that, that's wonderful.
Okay. Hoping for a number this year, maybe reach that triple digit number.
100 would be great. Yeah,
sure.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah.
But I just don't know what to expect. You just never know until
it
comes in. It's so dependent on weather.
Weather. I was just going to say weather. Yeah.
And how the weather looks. So if people, even if it ends up being great, but it looks bad, people kind of already put it away and they plan something else for the weekend or whatever. So ideally it looks perfect going up to it, and then it is perfect. So that would be probably the way that it would turn out the best.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's dive into these routes a little bit. Let's just kind of go through where are you sending folks? What do the routes look like this year?
Sure. Yeah, like I said, pretty similar to the previous couple of years. 9-mile route is going to be from Weldon Springs basically to the square, around past the homestead, C.H. Moore homestead, and back to Weldon Springs. Most of it's on the same road. It's a little bit of a loop in town and then back on the same road. The 25-mile route is going to do that same thing, but instead of looping back to Weldon Springs, they're going to go out to the lake, and there's a pavilion on the lake on the southwest part of the lake. It's on Valley Mill Road. I didn't even know it existed until I was looking for places to put up a rest stop, but it's perfect for it. It's a pretty good sized pavilion right on the lake. It's a beautiful area. So we set up there. There's bathrooms right there too. So there's coverage for potential rain. There's a bathroom. That's really the two main things that you need for a rest stop. And then on the 25-mile route, you're going to make a loop that's kind of it's only on the 25-mile route back to Weldon Springs, and it actually has the biggest hill. So if you're doing that one, expect a pretty big hill. If you're doing the 45-mile route, you'll go around north of the lake, around the north side, kind of through DeWitt. We used to have a rest stop in DeWitt Park, and we're still going to drive by there or ride by there, but the rest stop won't be there. It'll be on a different pavilion on the lake, which is the Weldon Access Pavilion. Again, just a big pavilion on the lake with bathrooms right there, and it's just a nice, pretty area. If you're doing the 45, you'll ride a route back to Weldon Springs from there. If you're doing the 63, you're going to do another loop that goes even farther north and east out to almost to Farmer City, around that corner of the lake, the northeast corner of the lake, and then back to that same rest stop. So you kind of do just an extra loop back to the same spot before you go back to Weldon Springs along the same path. So the roads around here are just so great for riding. It's really a nice ride. And
yeah. And they're open, so you don't really. I mean, you could. I mean, but you don't necessarily need to bring in law enforcement for patrolling and all that. And,
yeah, everything's open to traffic, and it's just logistically it'd be too difficult to. You can't close the 60. It's really like 100 miles of road, really, when you combine all the routes. So, it's open to traffic. So you got to share the road with cars and stuff. So. Riders do need to be comfortable with that. On that 9-mile route, it's really pretty minimal. It's not too stressful or anything. The 63-mile route, there's a stretch that you're on Route 54, which has a decent shoulder, so it's not bad. People that ride that long are usually going to be comfortable with that. And the routes are posted online and everything, so people can see that and kind of plan for it ahead of time.
Sure. Do you put notices on these roads at all for motorists?
No notices. I mean, we'll put markings all over the roads for the riders to follow. So they need something to follow, because a lot of them use a GPS, and it'll kind of do it for them. It'll tell them when to turn and stuff like that. But if you don't have that, I mean, there's going to be really clear markings on the road to show where to go.
What ride you doing?
I did the 45 last year, and it was great. I will probably do the same thing this year. That way I can start a little bit later so I can help at the beginning to get everything set up and get the volunteers kind of where they need to be, go out and ride, then help finish at the end. So it worked out really nicely last year, and I'll probably do the same thing.
There you go. Very good. Again, Dr. Mark Hobbie is the organizer of the annual Tour DeWitt. Again, it comes up on June the 6th for this year. You talked about Dr. Hobbie trying to coordinate with volunteers and those sorts of things. Do you need volunteers for this year's ride? Anything like that?
I think we are good on volunteers. We've got spots for everything. I mean, if anybody's really compelled to help, we could certainly find places to help. The rest stops don't need a lot of help, but we need at least a couple people there all the time. So
yeah,
the more the merrier. There's no harm in that. And plus, things could come up, and we could have people that can't make it for whatever reason. So having extra is good. But I think generally we're pretty good on volunteers. I do want to thank the sponsors that are sponsoring this year.
Yeah, please.
Constellation is the biggest sponsor. They sponsor every year, and they're kind of the main event sponsor. So they provide a sponsorship that covers a lot of the cost of the event. And the goal is for the sponsorships to cover all of the operational costs. So the food for the rest stops, the t-shirts, the insurance for the event, all those kinds of things. I mean, there's quite a bit to that we need to account for. So Constellation provides the biggest sponsorship for that, and that is wonderful. And then we have 2 rest stop sponsors this year. So each of the rest stop is sponsored by a specific sponsor. One is Baum Chevrolet Buick here in town. Really appreciate that. And then the other is Kim O'Donohue, Edward Jones financial advisor. So they're providing the food and drinks for the rest stop, and that is all covered so that all the registration money can go straight to the Weldon Springs Foundation.
Let's go into that next. The course, the ride this year benefiting the Weldon Springs Foundation. A little bit of a change. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so the Weldon Springs Foundation is just the nonprofit kind of fundraising arm of the park, Weldon Springs State Park, which is right here in town. Weldon Springs is just an awesome thing that we have here in Clinton. It's 5 minutes from Clinton. And they just do all kinds of programs out there with kids and adults, and they do things just to help keep the park clean and repair things that need repaired and things like that. They've helped a lot the last couple of years with this ride. Of course, the ride starts and ends there, which is great. And then they've helped with registration and
sounds like a good partner.
Getting everybody started. So it's a really great, it's a great partnership, and they're excited to keep helping with it, and we're excited to have them be the beneficiary for the event this year.
All right, very good. Where at Weldon Springs does this originate at?
It'll be at the concession stand, which is under a transition right now. So there was a tenant that took over the concession stand last year, and they sold food there, and they rented kayaks and things like that. They ended up leaving. There's another tenant that is taking over and is still in the process of kind of getting that building. So I keep calling Charlie Montgomery, who's he's the
site superintendent.
Yeah, site superintendent of Weldon Springs, and they still haven't gotten that transition. So he's assured me that either way, we're going to get access to the concession stand for registration. So
okay, great.
Whether it's him giving us the key or the tenant, because once the tenant takes over, then they will have the key, and we'll have to get it from them. But hopefully they'll be up and running by then, and riders can get some food whenever they're done.
Yeah, that was what I was going to ask. You ever thought about adding a post-race or a post-ride component to this, whether it be some music or just a meal, something of that nature?
Yeah, I've definitely thought about it. The logistics of it are a little challenging because the routes are so different that they take a lot different time for different people. Even the same ride for people. I mean, some people on the 63, they're going 20 plus miles an hour. They'll get that thing done in 3 hours. Others will go at a more leisurely pace and take almost 5 hours. So to have something there that would coordinate with all that would be difficult, but I definitely have thought about it. And if we get more participation and when we build on it more in future years, I'd definitely be up for doing that. Just have to structure it a little bit differently so that people start at a time that allows them to get at the end around the same time, so that we could do that.
What's good post-ride food?
Anything. It's I would say it's personal preference, but I would want something that's hefty and greasy. Some people might like donuts and something sweet like that. That's not really my thing, but burger, fries, anything like that would be great.
Okay. I was just curious.
Yeah,
I didn't know.
I think the concession stand would have food like that, so that would be right there.
Sure.
And then there's obviously plenty of places in town that you could go to.
Oh yeah, definitely
something different.
Yeah, definitely. Well, Dr. Hobbie, it's a great ride. I know you have just put an immense amount of work into making Tour DeWitt happen and bringing it back and all of those things. Did I miss anything in the conversation today you want to put out there for us this morning?
Yeah, I mean, just the sponsors, and also I mentioned that the Chamber of Commerce is the one who kind of formally puts on the event, and that's really Janice Peterson and Aaron Angel from the chamber. They help with registrations and online the content and everything. And then I'm a member of Clinton Rotary Club, and quite a few of the volunteers come from there too. So Clinton Rotary Club's not like officially involved with it, but I list them as a sponsor too, just because they do help out a lot, and a lot of the members help volunteer at it. So
as a Rotarian, are you ever the program out there?
Yes. Yeah, that's an easy program for me. So whenever it's my turn to do a program, I usually talk about Tour DeWitt. So it's easy for me to just use
don't
that.
have to find somebody to come in. There you go. Nice.
Exactly.
That's awesome. That's good stuff. Yeah, it just like I said, Dr. Hobbie, I know you've put, like I said, immense amount of work into this. Thank you for bringing it back. And in its third year, looking forward to it. One more time, if you don't mind, sir, highlight the when, the where, how folks get information, all the things.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we've got a website, which is tourdewitt.weebly.com, and Weebly is WEEBLY. Just Google searching Tour DeWitt is the easiest way to find that rather than typing it in. We have a Facebook page, which has all up-to-date information on there.
Mm-hmm.
The registration is actually on the website, which you can find from either the website directly or Facebook. But the date is Saturday, June 6th. The registration or check-in, if you pre-registered, is from 6:30 to 8 a.m. And that's at the Weldon Springs concession stand at Weldon Springs State Park. If you want to register ahead of time and get a t-shirt, that deadline is tomorrow, Friday, May 22nd. It's $30 to pre-register, $35 to register day of. If you're doing the 9-mile shorter route, it's $15 and $20 for pre-register or day of. I think that's the main things.
All right, very good. Well, Dr. Hobbie, it's always good to have you in the studio and talk about this with us. And again, June the 6th, come out and support the Weldon Springs Foundation. Be a part of Tour DeWitt. Dr. Hobbie, thanks so much, sir.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Absolutely. Yep. Dr. Mark Hobbie is the organizer of Tour DeWitt, our guest in studio.